All right, so we're going to get started. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jennifer. I'm the Client Relations and Account Manager for Singapore, and I'm also going to be the trainer for today's CAS 360 Singapore Level 1 editions. Just a very quick reminder, I've sent out the soft copy or the manual linked on the chat box of our Zoom. Kindly refer to this particular link as we're going to use this manual along the way as well. I would highly recommend you to also bookmark this for your source of learning as you go through the process of the CAS 360. And also I'll be sharing a couple of links later on in the chat box that you can be very useful when you're trying to find content or questions and how-tos through our resource hub as well. So in the lesson number CAS 360 level 1, we're going to go through the fundamentals of using the CAS 360, which first we'll go through getting started and using the software. That includes signing into your CAS 360, your navigation toolbar on your dashboard, resource hub, how to use the notification system, the email subscription to subscribe for email to get the notification in your inbox, setting up a registered filing agent, which is very important when you're getting started with the software, and also inviting the users. In your lesson number 2, we're going to cover more on loading the companies onto CAS 360, which covers different ways to onboard a client, for company registration, and processing the incorporation documents, your incorporation documents, and how do we process that and download those documents, and also importing company data from ECRA. In your lesson number 3, we're going to cover company address changes, which will include registered office address change, location of the registers kept, and also navigating your contacts and address, which will include how do we add or edit a new contact or address in CAS 360. In your lesson number 4, we're going to cover officer changes and adding a bank account, and just basically the fundamental or important basic process that usually occur in your normal day-to-day corporate secretary work. So we're going to learn officer changes and reprinting the company changed documents, and also the bank account, which is quite linked to your incorporation process. In your chapter or lesson number 5, we'll cover on the members changes, which includes allotment of shares, transfer of shares, and how do we set up automated document deadline reminders in your document production page. We're also going to cover setting up your nominee shareholder, and most importantly, your registerable of controllers, register, and document preview. Chapter 6, or lesson number 6, we're going to cover company name change. How do we prepare the company name change and the respective documents for a company name change, and lastly, documents for all your processes in your CAS 360. Where do we store all these documents into your CAS 360? So this is the soft copy manual of today's training. You can find it in chat box as well, and we're going to go through this along the way and also mention which page that we are referring to. So the first lesson that we're going to go through will be on your page 5, lesson number 1, getting started in CAS 360. In this chapter, we're going to learn the basic of how do we get started with the software, which includes the overview of the help and training resource available, and we'll also explain to you how to get the most of the software. From signing in, your navigation toolbar, notification system, how do we read through this notification system, subscribing for email notifications so that you get notification by email from your CAS 360, registered, finding agents, how do we set them up so that it's ready to be assigned to your respective companies, and inviting other users to access to the software. So when you first log into the software, you will receive an email notification inviting you to access to the software. So you will receive either a welcome to my BGL, welcome to CAS 360, to set up your password and access to the software. Once you have set it up, that will also include setting up your multi-factor authentication. If you're not familiar with that, I'm going to share a link in the chat box as well to how to set up your MFA as well, whether by SMS or an authentication app, which is part of setting up your account in CAS 360. Once you've set up your account, you are now ready to log in using this sso.bgl360.com.au. This link can also be found in your manual as well, so you can simply just bookmark this as well. Your username will essentially be your email address that used to receive your welcome to my BGL. That will be your username, and also the password that you've set up. Once you've keyed in that, you simply click on sign in. And essentially, it will bring you to this main dashboard instead. If you have multiple licenses, that will be the page, but when you log into your CAS 360 account, it will automatically bring you to the main dashboard. So you can see over here, we have two different toolbars. You have navigation toolbar on the left-hand side of your screen. I'm just going to increase, so hopefully everybody can see. Right? This is what we call the navigation toolbar. So I'm gonna go through this later on along the way. And we have your resource hub on the top right corner of the screen. So this is a very quick view of what the navigation toolbar has. So then over here, you can see the BGL icon. This is where it brings you to the main dashboard of the software. And on the next icon over here called the company selection screen, this will bring you to also to the main page of the company selection. So company selection is where you'll find all the companies that you are managing or you're servicing as a CorpSec service provider. You also have, you can see that it will have an advanced filter as well. So by default, if you have different jurisdiction that you're providing services, you will have all your jurisdictions, not just Singapore, but also other jurisdictions like Hong Kong, Singapore, your BVI, Malaysia, and all that. And in the advanced filter, you have an option to filter your jurisdiction by simply selecting the jurisdiction that you want to view in your company selection as well. So with this advanced filter, this will also filter the type of alerts available for that specific jurisdiction. So for instance, for Singapore over here, I have 38 companies in total, and the alerts available for specific Singapore companies will be the AGM alerts, You also have your annual return alerts, documents, and email and CDD alerts as well. So the alerts, we're going to cover this more in the chapter of your CAS 360 level 2. So if you have yet to register for that, I would highly recommend you to register. You'll also be able to view your deactivated companies, so companies that you have so-called deleted or deactivated as well. Deactivated companies, you will have the option to delete them, deactivate them, or restore them back as well. So this is not in your manual, but I'm just going to give you a quick tip on how to view your deactivated companies. If the company has a green tag over here, the letter I that shows green, it will mean that this company still takes up the slots within the 12-month subscription, even if you deactivated it. Let's say you've deactivated this company 6 months in between your 12-month subscription, it will still take up your company slots. If it's on red, for example, and you hover your mouse into this particular date, it will show to you that this particular company that has been deactivated is not included in your subscription, which means that after your 12 months, it's already considered as, releasing out the slot that has been taken up by this company during that 12-month subscription. So that's just a quick overview for deactivated companies. So I'm going to go back to my company selection. So in the company selection, you also have tabs as well, including your company registration. So we're going to go through this in the chapter 2, your level number 2, and search registry as well. Next is your trust selection. So trust, mainly this is applicable mostly on Australia and New Zealand jurisdictions. So if you are servicing companies that falls under the Australia jurisdiction compliance, you'll be able to create a trust selection over here. Next is your contacts, your global contacts and addresses. This will allow you to record your contacts and your addresses as well, so that you don't have to always add in the same contact when you're setting up the company. So I'm going to go through this in another chapter as well. So this is where you find to add and edit contacts and addresses. Then you also have your next tool, which is your annual return filing process, which we're going to go through in your CAS 360 Singapore level 2 next week on how do we navigate in your annual return tool and how do we process your annual return documents, do the lodgement, and also prepare the AGM documents. Next tool will be your multi-company changes. Sometimes you have multiple contacts and multiple addresses that has been used by multiple companies or multiple contacts, or that contact has multiple office holdings or shareholdings. This is where you can do a multi-company change that will apply across to the companies that this person or this address is attached to. Next is your free-form documents. Free-form documents is one of our latest features that we have released out for Singapore, and not just for Singapore, but for the core of the software, which allows you to create your own documents as well. This I will cover and touch on in our CAS 360 level 2. You have your global documents, which we're going to cover on the last chapter of the CAS 360 level 1. All the documents every time you do a document production or you prepare a company change or an annual return process, when you send the documents or download the document out from CAS 360 into your computer, the system is smart enough to have a record of that document under your Global Documents tab. You have also your messages. So the messages is linked to your notification system as well. Messages of the inbox will show to you all the messages between third-party applications or vendors such as like Accra. For example, if you have a lodgement from CAS 360 to Accra, it will be saved under your inboxes. So we're going to go through this as well in the later chapter. Different type of alerts, or rather your reports. This is where you can find company and management reports, including your annual reviews, and also most important thing, the registrable controller report that you can upload into Accra or bulk uploads. Lastly, your settings. So your setting allows you to set your document templates, email templates, automated reminders, and most importantly, adding your lodgement or agent settings or your filing agents. So before I move on, any questions so far, please feel free to put it into the Q&A. If you have any questions in this particular topic, do let me know. You can add it into the chat box. So we'll move on your chapter level number, page 10 of your manual on the global search functions. So we also have this very powerful tool called the global search. The global search allows you to search search and navigate to any company's trust, contact, or documents. So for example, if you are searching for a particular company, you'll be able to go through a quick search so you can go directly to that company or contact instead. So instead of looking through the whole list, for example, the company list, you want to search for a particular company, you can use the global search again. This global search function can also be used for your contacts. So if for example, I'm looking for this particular person, it will allow me to bring me to the profile of that particular contact. All right. Again, just a quick reminder for the soft copy manual of today's training, you can find it under the webinar chat as well. So I'm just going to copy this again for everybody to see if you are unable. Hope everybody can find the manual. All right, so it's in your webinar chat box today. All right, so I'm gonna come back to my CAS 360. So I'll cover more on this topic later in the later chapters. So this is where you can use the global search function to search for whether it's a company, contacts, documents, interest. On your page 11, on the bottom of the page 11, you will see what we call the BGL apps, which so this particular toolbar over here, we call this the resource hub, allows you to navigate on online resources for your CAS 360, including what we call the app switcher. App switcher allows you to move between applications, including your learning channel, integrations, My BGL, and users. So I'm just going to quickly show to you how it works. When you go to your app switcher, this allows you to go to your My BGL, for example. So My BGL is your corporate account with CAS 360, with BGL. So if you purchase any product with BGL, whether it's CAS 360 or other products from like Australia side, like their Simple Fund, you will have an account or access to the My BGL portal. The My BGL portal allows you to view your billing information, your products as well, which includes the number of licenses that you have purchased and expiry date, the contacts. This is also where you can upgrade your product. If you need to upgrade to more licenses, you can also upgrade as well. Most importantly, this is where you set up your payment methods. So there are products or processes like Accra Import that requires you to add in your payment method, which is your credit card, to process or import company registrations or that your business profile equivalent from Accra into the software. And in order to do that, you will need to add in your credit card information before it allows you to import. Lastly, your events and training. So instead of waiting for our emails to be sent out and received into your inboxes for announcements, you can simply go to the events and training, select registrations. So other trainings will be your free webinar trainings that we run for CAS 360 level 1, level 2. Or if we have free webinars, which we had yesterday between CAS 360 and Suite Files. For those of you who have missed out on that free webinar, we'll be sending out some of the content and available in your resource hub. And also the registration for user group. So CAS 360 user group is a face-to-face user group session where our product team from CAS 360 will come down to Singapore to run the latest software updates and also tips and tricks to make the most out of the software. So this event will be in the Lifelong Learning Institute on the 23rd November. And this is a free event for everybody to register. This event is exclusively for only CAS 360 user only, so that we can share all the latest features or the upcoming developments that we will be releasing out for the software. And also the best time to ask questions directly to our product managers on particular features that you wish to view or you wish some queries about as well. So highly recommend you to sign up for this and attend the session. So that's for the My BGL. So to go back to the software, you will always see this app switcher as well. And you can always come back to CAS 360. So it's easy to navigate between two applications using your app switcher, whether it's a learning channel or your users as well. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to go through will be your full resource hub. So on the page 12 of your manual will be some of the CAS 360 conventions and key to navigate, whether using the key tab to go to different section of your fields. For example, instead of moving the mouse, you can use the tab, or you can also use Control X, copy, like using the Control C to copy the information and so on. And also for browser zooming, if you need to increase the view of your CAS 360, you can simply use your browser to increase whether you want it lesser view or more view, or bigger view than that. So that's a very quick one for the CAS 360 conventional. So next thing will be your 1.3 resource hub. So in this task, we're going to learn how to access all the available resources for CAS 360 to help you at every stage of your BGL CAS 360 journey. So I've gone through with you the app switcher. So we're going to cover how to access the CAS 360 help, send feedback to our product team about our software, join the community, how to log a support ticket directly from CAS 360, and also access our live chat as well. So one of the first thing that you want to go to when you're first starting with the software is going to the help guide. In our help guide, CAS 360 help, we have getting started guide that allows you to get started with the software. And we have also segregated some of them specific for the jurisdiction. For instance, if you want the content specifically on Singapore, it will bring you to CAS 360 Singapore Hub. So in the main dashboard, it will show to you popular topics or the main topics, whether it's getting started, different types of company changes, documents report, annual return filing, topics on annual return filing, and also the different types of codes or merge field codes that you can add into your text paragraphs for your document templates. You'll also be able to see this particular button over here called New Features. And when you click on that, this will bring you to the main page. So as you know that CAS 360, we always run a software update to release out new features and improvements into the software. We run the updates very regularly, almost twice a month, so that you get all the latest features and make the most out of the software as well. If you have missed out some of the features or software updates, you can always go back again and select which date that you want to know what was the software update that has been released out, so you can be most updated on what are the features. So we'll put it all in that new released feature set so that you're more updated on what are the features that has been released out. The latest one will be on the 5th of October. For Singapore, we have changed, for example, users can now specify the type of remuneration or remuneration in AGM when preparing the documents, and we also did an update on company reports where nominee shareholders can now be automatically included in the company report and can be added or removed in the report settings. So the next one will be in 19th October tomorrow. So you will receive a landing page or notification in your main CAS 360 dashboard that new software releases or feature releases has been released out and added into the software. So go back to the CAS 360 page. So again, this particular link is available within your software. You can simply again go to your question mark. Do not be afraid to click onto this particular help guide and select the jurisdiction. So next will be your feedback button. So if you have any feedback about the software, the product, or the features that you wish that will appear, you can always log a feedback to help us improve your experience with the software as well. The quick tip about the feedback is that if we receive a feedback that has very high rate of that particular topic, if a particular topic is highly requested for feedback, we will get into working on that as well. Next is join the community. So you can join a community as well here to do or discuss different topics or BGL announcements. You can find the BGL announcements as well, whether it's a product updates. So all the BGL announcements specifically for product update can be found in your community page as well. And you can always start a thread or questions within the BGL community. So the BGL community is a great forum for you to start a discussion about the topic, any topic pertaining to the software and the corporate compliance. And in the community as well, something I would highly recommend you to have a look is all the webinars that we have run in the past. So if you've missed out some of the webinars that we've ran, you can simply come to this section over here to view and re-watch the webinars. These webinars are short webinars that last for about an hour as compared to our training session, which usually for training will be 3 hours, but this one is a short one. And each of these webinars covers a specific topic or tool or process. So for example, this one, we have done this import company from Accra and search registry in CAS 360. Our product manager will cover more in detail how we process specific changes, particularly on company, import company research registry. So I'll share this particular link as well, so you can always bookmark it and view it anytime. So if you're free to view these topics, you can always watch them as well at your free time and at your own pace. We also have a video for shareholder share transaction and registerable controller as well. So this is a much more in-depth cover on this specific topic. So that's, and also few of the questions, particularly on this topic, will also be covered in this webinar as well. Next, in your resource hub is your report. So in the CAS 360, you have the ability to log a support ticket directly from the software itself. So if you are a former desktop client, previously you have to call the support consultant and the number to log a support ticket. Now you have the ability to log the ticket directly from the software. So essentially, it will bring you to this page. What would you like to help with? To search for that particular topic. Let's say I want to know how to file. And when I click on the search, this will breeze through all the content in our resource hub and recommend you articles pertaining to your search. And if you are unable to find the right content that you're looking for, or for example, I have an error, for example, I'll type in and it's not, you can find it over here. What you can simply do is scroll all the way down and you see on the bottom part of this main page, you have a log a support call. So the support call will be able to detect your username, your email address. You can select the telephone, your email response, and once you've filled up, you must also select the problem statement, whether it's pertaining to annual reviews, company incorporations, internal server error, for example, rejection in the forms, or if, for example, you have a particular feature that you want our product team to be able to add that into the software, you can add in the wish list. So you can add also the description. So highly recommend to share as much information as you can when you're logging a support call so that our support consultant and product team is able to understand or investigate. The more information you provide, the better they'll be able to understand or give you the solution for it. Let's say you're getting an internal server error for your particular feature. You can just type in internal server error. Production page, for example. And I also highly recommend that you screenshot your errors or whatever errors or information that you're able to screenshot and attach it over here. So you have a supporting documents and supporting proof on what kind of error that you're facing, what kind of discrepancy that you're facing as well. And once you've added you can simply click send, and this will go directly to our support team who will be able to assist you with your questions and your query as well. So that's for logging a support ticket. Alternatively as well, if you want a very quick questions that you want to ask to our support consultant, you can also use what we call our live chat as well. So live chat is our CAS bot, which is an AI-driven chat box that will allow you to be able to find content depending on the questions that you feed into the chat box. So it will recommend you items that you're looking for based on the questions that you type. And if you need to get in touch with a support consultant, you can simply click in a support consultant, and a live support consultant chat will get in touch with you with regards to your query. The next is your page 20, which is your notification system in CAS 360. So in your resource hub, you will see this particular bell icon over here that will notify you as you use the software when you're processing documents, or whether sending a digitally signing documents to the client, or doing enlargements, or even exporting the full set of company reports. And in this part over here, it's linked to your messages. So as explained earlier, the messages are split into different categories. CAS 360 inbox will display all the messages received by CAS 360, which includes communication from Accra, BGL, and other integrated partners like your digital signing platform through the notification system. Outbox, on the other hand, which will be on your page 21, are all the communication that sends out directly from CAS 360 to your clients. So all the documents you send out from your document production, if you choose to click send all instead of download all, the status of that email will be recorded under your outbox. You'll also be able to view the status of the failed email, whether the email or check recipient address and resent, and you can view the email that has been sent out as well. That's for the outbox. Now we'll go back to your notification system over here, and how do we set up as well. So in your notification, you have different tabs, all, unread, and settings. So you'll be able to view this particular notification by simply clicking on it. The receipt, let's say Accra lodgement receipt, which is failed. This is an example. You'll be able to view the receipt as well. You can go to see all the messages, and when you click on all messages, this will bring you to your inbox. And to mark, if, for example, you just want to clear all this notification, you can simply mark as read. All right, so the next we'll cover is on your email subscription. Now, how do we sign up for email subscription? Which is on your page 23. So the powerful thing in CAS 360 is that you can subscribe for email reminders from the software to be sent to your email. By simply switching on the toggle button, it allows you what kind of reminders that you want to receive, whether it's annual reviews received, regular invoicement, documents due to lodge in 7 days, rejected lodgements, your annual returns status, and you have the ability to change whether set whether you want to receive this email daily, weekly, and fortnightly. And if it's daily, you can select the days in the week that you want to receive and at which time that you wish to receive that email. And if it's weekly, for example, you'll just be able to select one per week, and again, select the time of the day to receive that email. You also have the ability to Select whether it's based on a whole firm, only favorites label companies, or both. You can save this particular settings, and you can also apply the labels, which I'm gonna cover this later on as well. For example, if I want based on Jennifer, apply. So only companies under Jennifer, I'll get notification from that. You can simply save the settings. And if you want to reset the settings of your email notification, you can simply reset. And this will automatically switch off your toggle button to receive email reminders. So any questions so far on this topic? Otherwise, we'll move on to the next chapter, which is on your page 26 of your menu. So on the page 26, 1.6 will cover setting up the registered filing agent in CAS 360. If you are new in VGL, set up and authorizing your agent details using the SingPass login on CAS 360 so that you can begin meeting your filing requirements. This is a very important process, especially when you are onboarding a new client. You'll need to assign a registered filing agent for that particular company. This will also affect how you'll be able to access into ACRA, as ACRA requires to know who is accessing their database using CAS 360 with their SingPass or Corpus. So in your page 26, you'll see in the manual, that's very important that before setting up the filing agent in CAS 360, the filing agent has been authorized to access to ACRA's digital service in Corpus. So you'll need to make sure that your SingPass has admin rights to even access ACRA's digital API, the digital services, particularly on the ACRA API mode. So if your SingPass that is linked to your firm's Corpus doesn't have the authorization to ACRA's API mode, kindly speak to your Corpus administrator to check whether you are able to have authorization to ACRA API mode. Reason being is because CAS 360 is, after all, we're still a third-party vendor, a third-party software. So you'll need to make sure that your software, ACRA is able to track who is accessing by CAS 360. So I'm going to share this particular link as well. This is to help you have a better understanding of the digital services. It's very important if you are using your SingPass attached to your firm's Corpus on behalf to do different types of lodgements for your clients. Ensure that you have not only access to BIS file, BIS transaction form, but also API mode. So I'll share this link in the webinar chat so you can bookmark that and review as well and share it to your Corpus administrator. So go back to the CAS 360. So setting up your lodgement agent settings can be found under your settings in your navigation toolbar. Simply click on the Add Agent. This will notify you to select your jurisdiction and select the agent name. So you can add in the FA number, the address, and email. You can simply key in the save only or save authenticate SingPass. So this is an example of a SingPass, for example. So this is a dummy account. And just to show to you, and you can just simply save only if you haven't completed that and you want to come back and complete it. Or if, let's say, you want to save and authenticate the SingPass, you can simply click Save and Authenticate. By clicking Save and Authenticate, this will bring you to the SingPass page to use your SingPass, authenticate. So generally, usually what happens is that it will bring you, once you do the SingPass, it will bring you to your Corpass to select which firm, and then it will authorize you or bring you to the request for permission. Once you have confirmed and submit the request for permission, in the background, it will do the authorization. So under the notification and alerts, you will see over here that expires on the 18th on this day at this time, 3:24. So what it shows that whenever you try to access using your Corpass or SingPass, even via CAS 360, ACRA limits your access within a 30-minute time frame. So this is not only applies to CAS 360 or using it via CAS 360, but it also applies to all Corpass access or SingPass. So this is something we cannot bypass. This is due to security reasons as well. So you can add as many filing agents as you want. Usually what you will see is your firm's Corpass, your firm or your corporate compliance team's Corpass as well over here. You just need to make sure that your SingPass is linked to your firm's Corpass and you have admin rights to the API. And if you need to edit the information, you have an option button over here to edit the option or the information as well. So on page 29, the agent authorization will expire every 30 minutes. As such, CAS 360 will inform users when the authorization will expire as well. So you can always reauthorize that agent to access to CAS to ACRA's database via CAS 360. Next, we'll be inviting users and user roles. So when you're getting started with the software, the first thing also you need to make sure is to invite your team members. If you are the main account owner of CAS 360 or the administrator, you'll need to invite your team members to the software. So again, under your app switcher, you'll need to select, for this time around, user. This will open up a new tab for you to invite and to manage user access rules. So here I'm just going to show to you, I'm an administrator. This is also where you can find your multi-factor authentication, which is part of the process when you're setting up. You can either use a authentication app or SMS text message. So I'm just going to share to you this information. So if you need some queries or you want to reset your MFA, you can simply find it in our article. I'm going to share this into our webinar chat, as we do have two ways to set up whether it's an authentication app or via SMS. We also have frequently asked questions on the MFA. And also, for example, if you got a new phone, authentication was on my old phone, you can always, we have an instruction how to disable the authenticate with a new number. So this is a very good source if you need to reset your MFA, especially if you are changing your phone and your phone line as well. So I'll go back to my user accounts, and on the left-hand side of the toolbar, under admin section, you have this tab over here called invitation. This is where, as an administrator or the account owner, you can invite other users from your team to access to the software. So you can see over here an example that I have added or canceled with a couple of other team members, the ones that has expired. So it will show to you whether this particular user, the invitation has already expired, and you can simply re-invite them back, resend them again the invitation, or whether it's canceled. So to invite new users, click on the invite users, type in the email address, first name and last name. The email will be the username to be used to access to the software. And this portion over here is very important, as this will determine whether the user will have access to My BGL or CAS 360. So obviously for My BGL, you can select whether they had admin rights, which includes allowing them to have the ability to do upgrades of the software, or if you want them to just have a normal user only, which will limit their admin rights into the My BGL. And most importantly, you'll need to invite them to the CAS 360. Don't forget to invite them to the software. And you can select the type of role settings you want, whether they have admin, so they will definitely have full administrative rights, or whether it's a manager, team A, team C. So I'm just going to talk about this portion over here. So these are user roles that have created as well. Now that you invited your team members, they will receive an email notification with welcome to My BGL or welcome to CAS 360. Invite them to set up their password to access to the software. And again, if, for example, they've got the invitation, either it went to the spam or they totally forgot about it, the invitation has already expired, you can always come back to the invitations and resend the invite to that particular team member. So as the admin as well, you have the ability to set the role settings. So we have different types of role settings available in CAS 360, whether it's accountant, admin. So admin is enabled to have all the administrative rights. And this is an example that I've created as another role. And you can do that by simply clicking add new role, type in the role, role name, whether it's team A, team B, or your team member's name, for example, and you can modify the type of settings that you have for that particular role setting. whether it has the ability to have modifications or is not able to do add and edit. So let's say I can say that, okay, James, for example, will have this role settings. This is his role settings. You have can do company registration screen. You can't prepare, for example, but you can. So you can adjust the type of settings you want for that role settings. And once you save this role settings, this will appear in your invitation process. So this will then appear in this once you saved it. So this is a couple of examples I've done before. You have team A, team B, team C, and each team will have different role settings that I've set. So that's pretty much how we navigate or getting started with CAS 360. So again, I'm using the app switcher so to bring me back to my software. So any questions so far before we proceed? Otherwise, I'm going to move on to our next chapter, or lesson number 2, loading companies onto CAS 360. So in this lesson, you will learn how to incorporate a Singapore company and how to prepare the supporting documents for the registration. This will include your pre-incorporation documents and also your post-incorporation documents. This lesson will cover importing the data as well from Accra using your search registry features. So in the software, when you're onboarding a new client, those are the 2 main processes that you can use to onboard a client. Another third one will be adding an existing client. If you have your own database and you want to add in manually, or sometimes I would recommend this, especially when you're just getting started and you have your own separate database of your clients with all the information. You can simply click in your company selection page, add company, and type in the company manually. Once you've saved this company, it will create a profile for you to add in more information like your company's registered address, officers, shareholders, and such, which is similar to this kind of company over here. When you save that, it will come up something like this, and it will add more information for you to add in other company informations. So that's how we add the basic ones. So, but one of the really popular ones when we're onboarding a client is your company registration. So in this company registration, it will allow you to prepare the legal requirements to register a company with Accra if you want to operate a business in Singapore. This will include your pre-incorporation documents and also your post-incorporation documents. To incorporate a new company or register them, you can simply click on the company registrations, and this will bring you to the Let's Getting Started page. In this section, you'll need to select the jurisdiction that you want to do the incorporation, and automatically it will trigger what information required for the process of company registration for Singapore company. So let's say I will type 8, let's say 8 of October, company limited. You can select the type of company, whether it's private or exempted. This information over here is very important as this will also reflect the type of annual return questionnaires or declarations when the annual return filing or your FYE is coming for that company and you need to do the annual return filing. You also have limited by shares. Let's say I want to select my financial year end. I'll put it, let's say, end of December. And here you can add multiple company activities. Let's say I'll do cybersecurity software, and then I can add in another one, which is maybe information technology consultancy. And you can add in the other description for that, each of the activity code. So you have the option whether to save and close. So if you save and closed this particular company, you see that the status will be not registered. And you can always come back again to add in more information. So to go back to that company and continue working on, you can simply go to Options tab and click Edit. And this will bring me back to my company registration details process. And you will see the journey trail on the left-hand side, which of the data fields that has not been completed yet. So for example, I have my addresses over here. I have yet to select my registered office address. You can either type in the address, the new address. And let's say if I, for example, Avenue, let's say 8, and you can't find it in this list, it means that it's not in your global address book recorded in your software. So you can always create the address on the spot, and automatically it will fill out the necessary information for you. So I'm gonna cover that a bit later on how we add addresses. So this is another alternative way to add an address if you need to add the address on the spot, or you cannot find that address in your global address book. Otherwise, let's say I put 20. So I can just simply select that address and I can go to next. Here, I'll be able to add in my new officers for this particular company. So you can either add in existing officers that's already in your global contacts, or if you have a new address, for example, Simon, and it's not in your record, again, you have the ability to add this contact on the spot. So if it's not in your global contacts book, you can add it, click on add, and this will open up your new contacts details to add in the new contact. And if the person is already in your contact, for example, you can simply select that from your global contacts book, and automatically the information of that particular contact will be populated as well. So I can select this particular person as a director, for example, and that signatory. Click save. You can add in as more officers as you want, but I'll just put it here as well. Let's say I assign myself again, or assigned Amy. Let's say Amy as an officer. And you can always go next to the next field. So let's say I'll use myself. I can also set up my first share transaction. So I'll leave it as number 1. If this particular transaction, or let's say, you don't want any certificate for that, you can simply as none, but by default, it will select as transactions. You'll also be able to select your share payable, and click save. And in this section, you have the option whether to add in an auditor with this particular company or not. Otherwise, you can skip that. And in the constitution, you will be able to select the type of the constitution based on your share type. So because this is limited by in the details, the company class is limited by share, and therefore the constitution selected for that particular company automatically suggests you a model constitution for company limited by share. Otherwise, you can always customize your constitution. If you have a customized constitution specific for this company, you can always drag and drop the documents. All right. And this will be attached to your whole document. And at the last part of this process, it will give you a summary of what you have entered for this company for their company registration process. So you can either save and close if you believe that there are other couple of changes that needs to be done for this before saving and prepare. Otherwise, if this company is good to go, you can simply click on save and prepare. So this will then bring you to what we call the document production. So in CAS 360, when you're doing a company change or when you're setting up a company, which is for instance, doing a company registration, you will be brought to this page called document production. So you have the firm's name, and on the left-hand side, you will have the summary of the action, which is incorporating this company, and all the documents required for that particular company change, which is for this case, company incorporation. It will pull out all the necessary documents related to that company change. So because we did set up a director for this particular company, it pulls out your consent to act as director as well. You have the company registration summary. It's like your company report. You can preview the documents by clicking on the text in blue to preview the document as well. And you have the ability to switch on the old ACRA forms as well if you want it to be part of your document pack. So I can switch on all these documents. For example, I want this to be pulled out as well. So I'm just going to switch off my electronic signing. All right. So any supporting documents that I want. So for example, if you have all that, you can simply switch it off. So you can see also your constitution that if attached, so this is just like a sample document attached, is also attached in your full set of document pack. You can click on download. As well. I'm just going to type it like that. So I'll switch off this document first. I'm just going to switch off. So you see that if you switch on all these documents, you'll need to fill up them because this is the old ACRA form. Will look something like this. I'm just going to switch off all the old ACRA forms. As usually all the old ACRA form is diverted into your company registration summary. Once you've clicked download, you can see over here you have your Form 45, your company registration summary, which replaced your Form 49. Your Form 49B, consent to act. So this is, let's say, an example. Let's assume this is your constitution documents. It will appear in your document pack as well. So you will see that this company has now changed to awaiting for registrations. So you also have the ability to select the post-incorporation documents. And in this section, to be able to generate the post-incorporation document, you will need the UEN, the registered number as well. And if you need to edit the registration or the information of the company after preparing the pre-incorporations, you can always come back again to edit the information. This will then revise your pre-incorporation documents. Let's say I change October. And when I go to my pre-incorporation documents, you'll need to reprint it again so that it has the correct name. So in the post-incorporation documents, again, to be able to generate this document, you must add in the UEN number, as this is required by ACRA as well. You need you need to make sure that this is declared as a registered company before even preparing. If, for example, you know that this company is going to register anyway, for example, you can always put a dummy number For example, and click proceed. This will then allow you to generate your post-incorporation documents, including your first director minutes and declaration, declaration of the company, notice of AGM, register of directors, register of members, and secretary and share certificate as well. Now you will also notice that in this document pack, we do not have the extraordinary documents, the opening of bank account resolutions, right? So we're gonna go through this and in the later chapter on how to add in the bank account. So this is how we processed a incorporations or company registration in CAS 360. Something to also take note in the whole process of company registration, if the company has yet to be registered, it will not take up your license slot over here. So for example, in my company registration, in my filters over here, 28 company, if I were to type in 28 October company, it doesn't exist in my company selection, and therefore it doesn't take up my license slots of 12 months subscription. So it won't take up my 12-month subscription. All right. So that's that. So the next process that we can onboard a new client is by using our search registry, or what we call the import company data from Okra. This can be found in your page 47. So in this lesson, we will learn how to manually enter basic details of the company into CAS 360, load the company data using CAS 360 registry, organize your company list and label, and add company names. So earlier on, I've showed to you that another process that you can import onboard a client is clicking on the add company and add a new company to fill up all this information. When you save this particular information, it will automatically create a profile, which is similar to this, for you to fill up the rest of the fields. Another option to onboard, which is a faster way to onboard a client. This is also particularly useful when you're doing a company takeover, is by using your search registry tool. This is to reduce the time in manually entering the company's information if they already have the company registration or business profile record in Accra. So you can simply go to the search registry, select on Singapore, and at the beginning part, you will receive this notification that this is additional paid services. So when you're purchasing or you're downloading the business profile on BizFile equivalent from Accra into CAS 360, you are required to make a payment or purchase. So it's simply purchasing the business profile, but instead of going to ACRA's website and purchasing a PDF format of the company registration, what we can do is that we can automatically pull out those data, company data information, and save it into the software. So to proceed on how to extract, so you can simply click on that. If you have yet to set up your credit card information, you'll need to click on that link, and this will bring you to the step-by-step guide on how to process and import company data from ACRA. So you note, so you also have a note here that is paid services price as $10 per company download, and this will include in your monthly invoice payment can be made via BJL. And to add in your payment method, your credit cards, you have instruction over here on how to add in your payment method. I'm going to share this particular link in your webinar chat so that you can test it out and ready to purchase business profile from ACRA, save directly into CAS 360. I'll also share this instruction on how to set up your payment method, as this is part of the process before you can even do the ACRA import. Because I don't have a credit card at the moment, you will see that if you need to set up, it will bring you to your My BJL to set up your payment method over here. So I'll just go directly on this page. So once you've set up your payment method, this particular page will appear in your CAS 360. You'll be able to search based by entity, which is a UAN, or search by company name. So generally, most of the time users prefer to type based on the UAN. And when you type the UAN number of the company, CAS 360 is smart enough to be able to register or search whether this particular company exists in ACRA's database. You can simply select that particular company that you want to extract, and once you click confirm, you will switch to confirm purchase. You can also select or extract multiple companies using our search registry. So instead of just selecting one, doing the extra one by one, you can extract multiple companies, and this will calculate the amounts that you need to pay for multiple company purchase. And once you have made the purchase, automatically it will go to your recent searches. It will also show to you the date that has been searched. When did you actually purchase this particular company? So I'm just going back to over here. It will show to you when you purchased the company, also the outstanding amounts of the purchase. And when you go to the next month, all the companies that you have purchased for the month of October, for example, will move to your historical searches, and this will be cleared as well. All right. So let's say, for example, you want to re-import what you have purchased from CAS 360, from ACRA into CAS 360. You can simply click on the options and click on import. So you can re-import this purchase data from your search registry list into your company selection list. It will not charge you for re-importing. However, do note that the only part that you get charged again for purchasing for extracting is when you try to repurchase the company information, the business profile information of that company directly from Accra into the CAS 360. So in scenarios like, for example, let's say you have for example, you have company ABC, you've purchased it on Monday, it got saved into your recent searches, but then your clients went to Accra to change and update it directly into Accra's website and didn't inform you about it. And then at the later part of the day, they inform you that, oh, there's actually changes that I've done directly in Accra's website. And you as a service provider, you want to have the latest information update of that company. So you'll go back to the search registry and do this entire process to repurchase again this particular company's information. So that's the only time that CAS 360 will charge you again for repurchasing the company information. It's simply the same as going to Accra's website to purchase the company biz file again for that company. But when it comes to, for example, I've purchased this and I want to re-import it, let's say, into my company selection, I can re-import it again and again. You will not charge me for it. So you can see that this company I've deactivated multiple times. So I have this company, Regional Corporate Solutions, and let's say I will you can see that now it takes up my license slot for the next 12 months of my license. And if I deactivate the company, I can just deactivate. So usually you want to deactivate that company if you don't want to have duplicates. Or you can always re-import the new information. I'm just going to go back to this, to the manual just to show to you on page 51. Of the manual, hopefully it works. So you can re-import the data. It will also notify for you if you want to overwrite the Accra extract as well when you want to re-import. Do note that once the company data has been purchased or imported, processing a re-imported will remove the existing company information and override it entirely with the previous purchase Accra data as at search date. To import updated company information from Accra, you will need to do the whole process of searching for the UN and reprocess the whole purchase. And this will be chargeable. That is how we import company in CAS 360. So earlier on, if you remember, we have registered the company October as a registered company. And I'm just going to go back to that topic as well. So you can see that now that I've registered the company 18 October, you will see that in my global search function, it's able to detect this company in my list. So you can see that it also created a profile, which allows me to add in additional informations. For example, if I want to add in this registered office address to apply to multiple addresses, not just registered office address, but also the location of my registers, for example, I can add it and edit it as well. So you can go through this to add more informations along the way, or if you need to edit the information that you have declared from the beginning of your company registration. So for example, let's say this company over here. Let's say this is one of the companies that you want to prepare both pre-incorporation and post-incorporation document, and you've used a dummy UAN, for example. So this is some tip that I could share. So you can always come back to the general details of the company and edit the UAN with its correct UAN number. This is also where you can select your registered filing agent. As you can see, if you remember earlier, there's 2 filing agents available and registered in my CAS 360. So when I select my registered filing in the drop-down icon, it will show to me the 2 registered filing agents that has been set up into my system. You can also add in your contacts, important company dates, and change your company status if you need to. If the company, for example, is a small company group, you can select that as well for that particular company. And click Save. So you'll see a notification over here. All right. So that's how we edit the company's business profile or information. If you need to edit, or if there's certain mistakes, or if you want to add more information for the company as you onboard a new client or do a company takeover as well. All right, so next will be your page 52, 2.3.4 company labels. So in CAS 360, we have a feature called labels, which can be used to group your companies together for quick selection and reporting purposes. If you scroll all the way down on your left advanced filter toolbar, you will see this tab called labels. There are a few ways to add labels in company selection. One is simply you can go to this particular, for example, we'll work on October company. And in this column over here, labels, you can simply click on the pencil icon and you can select which label that you want to apply. If the label doesn't exist, for example, you have a new team member who you want to take this client portfolio, you can simply add in that particular person. Otherwise, let's say I will put it under Corp Sec Team A, for example, and I'll add it. Also, let's say Gen P. So that will be the label for the company to group up. So if I were to scroll all the way to the labels, you'll see that, let's say I select Gen P, Jennifer P, it will show to me all the companies under Jennifer P label. which will include your 18 October company. So same goes for CorpSec Team A. So it will show to me that company as I added this company under 18 October, the CorpSec Team A. That's how we add the label. Now we can also manage the way we navigate our labels. So in this section over here, we call the manage labels. So first, you will need to select the label that you want to customize or edit. So for example, CorpSec Team A, it will show to you that there are 15 companies in this that is selected for CorpSec Team A. You'll also be able to deselect this company for this particular firm as well. So it shows to you that all those companies with green tick are companies tagged to CorpSec Team A. And for example, if you need to, let's say I want this company as well to be under CorpSec Team A, I can simply select the companies as well and click Save. This is how we transfer companies from different teams or different labels easily as well. So I'll go back to manage labels as well. So sometimes when we have cases like a new team member or a team member that has left the firm and you want to move all this portfolio to the new team member in your firm, you can simply edit the label name, select the label that you want to edit, for example, Roger, and I want to change it to, let's say, James. So this is my new team member, or let's say, CorpSec Team B, and click Save. So all the companies under Roger, previously Roger, will then be moved to a new team called CorpSec Team B. So this is how we edit. So this is a good way if, let's say, you have a big team or you need to move accounts between team members. Company label is a great way for you to navigate transferring different companies and portfolios to your company. Lastly, you can also save this label as your favorite. So for example, if I want to click on Jennifer to show me all my Jennifer as well, and if I click on the star icon over here, it will allow me to see only the companies under Jennifer P label, so that every time I log into my software, I will only see the companies under my label. This is also essential when setting up an email subscription. You can choose to receive notification for companies where you have attached your favorite label to. So that's for company label and favorite label. So next will be your company notes. So company notes, you will see that in your main document company selection page, you will have a column over here called company notes. And whenever you see a plus sign, it means that there's no notes added into this particular company. Otherwise, if the company has notes attached to it, it will be labeled as a blue tag with a sticky note, and you can simply click on to view the notes added in for that company. So you can add as many notes as you want. Please see the document's date on, for example. You can add or remove them as well. And you can use this search to search the notes easily if you have multiple or several notes attached to this company. That is for notes. Now that we've added in the basic, we've onboarded a new clients in our list of our company selection. We are now ready to do the necessary company changes. So in lesson number 3, we're going to learn one of the fundamental company changes, which is your company address change. You will learn to add and edit company addresses and prepare the relevant forms. You will also learn how to manage all the contacts and addresses information across all your companies and trust in CAS 360. So on the page 57 onwards, we're going to learn on 3.1 registered office address change. So in this task, we'll learn how to process and prepare the relevant forms or change to the registered address. So we're going to use 18 October company. So we're now in the general details, and you will see you have a tab called addresses. To change the address, the registered office address of this particular company, simply select registered office address. Here you'll be able to select the new address for this company. Let's say select 14 Birch Road, effective date, and you can also apply in this particular whether it's a business address, postal address, or your mailing address. Once you click that, you click saved. So automatically it will update your addresses list. So because the system recognized that you did a company change for 18th October, automatically the system will trigger this button called Prepare Forms. To click Prepare Forms, this will bring you to your document production page. Again, the summary of the change you're doing, which is a company address changed. And these are the documents that require for you to prepare. So you'll have your director minutes and resolutions. And on top of that, it will produce a company summary of that change. So I can simply download this document to process the change so that this address will now be 15 Birch Road for my registered address and the rest of the addresses. Now, what if, for example, you have already this registered address? We don't require a registered address, a new registered address. You just want to simply apply this existing address to other addresses, including your business, meeting, postal, and location. So earlier on, I didn't select location of registers, as this is a process that quite common, especially when you want to do the declaration or declare where the location of the register is kept, including your registrable controllers and your nominee shareholders and nominee directors. Here you can apply, let's say, I will use the same address earlier, the 200 Jalan. Let's assume that this is the registered address. So I can apply to respective registers, whether it's registered address, the members, debentures, directors, shareholders, registrable controllers, and nominee. So I can just simply apply on that, click saved, and this will then be recorded into your address list, not only your business meeting and postal, but also your register's address and your registrable controller. This process is important, especially when you're setting up for a new client and you are processing the annual return for them, as the address will also reflect onto your annual return filing process. So you need to make sure that you have declared the right registrable controller registered address. This is how we do the registered office address change in CAS 360. So next that we're gonna learn, so we've covered the location of register, which is your page 61 as well. We're now gonna cover the contacts and addresses. So we'll jump on to page 63, the manual, 3.3, contacts and address. So in your navigation toolbar, you will see this icon, the third icon on the navigation toolbar called contacts and address. Contacts and address is where we save and store all your people contacts, your corporate shareholder contacts, or your global address contacts to be used across different companies. So first, over here, we have the global contacts and the global addresses. In your global contacts, you're able to filter the type of contact, whether it's an individual or whether it's a company. So sometimes if you have corporate shareholder, they are considered as a companies, you can filter them this way as well. To add a company, you also contact, you will have to select what type of contact. Individual is for a particular person. Company is to represent a firm, whether it's an auditor based on, let's say your auditor, it's not your auditor's name, but the auditor's firm name, other entity, or if let's say you have a corporate shareholder, will be based on company. And because of that, depending what you have selected, the type of field information that you need to fill up will also be dependent on your selection. So because you've selected add a company contact information, instead of birth of details, it will select place of incorporation instead. And if it's for an individual, you will see you have the first name, last name, and the birth details. In the context, you have the ability to change the surname, last name. Let's say I type in James. Then I select surname. I'm just going to type in some random. And you can also select the birth details. And the email addresses and so on. So I'm just going to type in my email address over here. So once you've created that, if you want to add in more information, for example, like the passport information of the David James, you can simply click on the particular contact, or you can simply click on option to edit or delete. When I click on edit, this will bring me to the main profile of James David's, and I can add more informations as well. So for example, I can add in the identification number. Let's say James is NRIC. You can also select whether it's Singapore NRIC, permanent NRIC. I'm just going to randomly pick. I'm just going to put that basically. So you can also add in professional, the nationality of that particular contact. So automatically it will show your nationality as Singaporean. You have the NRIC. So you can add as many information that you want for this particular contact. And if, for example, you need to edit the information, so let's say you made a mistake in selecting the residential information. Let's say go Serangoon, for example. You can simply click on the text in blue. So anything in CAS 360, any text that is in blue, you can always change or click on that text. So let's say I click on this address over here. This will open up for me to edit the residential address. Let's say I type Serangoon, for example. It will also notify you whether to prepare forms. For this case, because I just want to edit the contact information as I made a mistake, let's assume I made a mistake, I'll just simply click Save Only. So this is how we edit the contacts in CAS 360. So I'll go back to my contacts as well. And I can search on my contacts using my search here. You can see that I have multiple Jennifer. I've added in the passport information for this particular contact. And because this contact is attached to multiple companies, I'll also be able to see my relationship. So you can see that I have the historical information of this particular contact related to multiple companies. For example, I am an auditor for the SG company sample. Bank accounts, you can find it over here as well. Your company contacts. So I am assigning contact. My office holdings. So not only that I have a office holding for other like Cook Island, for example, BVI, other Singapore companies. It will also show to me my registrable controller for multiple companies, nominee shareholder as well. My shareholdings. So this is a great way to view this contact, which company this contact is attached to. If you have other business names, other directorships, and we have what we call the compliance page. So if this particular is required for PEP checks, for example, you can add in identification, and fill in this information as well. Now, this particular information, this is quite tied to our tool that we're going to release very soon for Singapore as well, which is our BGL ID verification. So you can see over here that we have this tool over here that allows you to verify the identity based on the information that you have on hand, or send a request to this particular contact for them to fill up the information and have it verified to the respective government bodies. So I'm not going to cover this, as this will be a totally different topic. This is not available yet in Singapore, but it's something that we'll be adding very soon for Singapore as well. So just going to go back to context. And sometimes there are multiple times where we add the same company or contact. For example, we have Alan Trevor Weber here, and we also have another Alan Trevor over here. So you can try to find duplicates based on match by name and address, or let's say you want to match by name only. So sometimes you have multiple contacts with the same name, but the address is different. So you can choose whether to keep them or retain them as it is. Sometimes if it's matched by name only, you want to just keep them just because it may be the same person, but the information in that particular contact may be different, like the IC number, the passport, or that they've declared for those companies, they use a different one. The best way to do the filter is simply using match by name and address to see if this is the much more accurate to filter. Because this contact, for example, had the same address and information, but this one has a missing birth details and all that. So you can select which one to keep instead, and the other one will be removed in your list of global contact. All right. So now that I've covered on the global contacts, we're gonna go move on to your global address. So in the global address, it will list on all the addresses that have been used for all the companies in CAS 360 and all the addresses that has been added. So whenever you add a new person or a new company and you are required to fill the addresses page, address field, this is where it pulls out the list. So if this address is recorded in your global address, this will be available for you in your drop-down. CAS 360 is smart enough to recognize that this address already exists in your record, so you no longer need to type it multiple times as well. You can also view in your global address which company or contacts use this address, and if you need a full usage report, you can simply click on a full usage report to view who are the companies or contacts that use it and for which address type that they use this address for. All right, so that's for the address. Again, to edit the address, simply click on edit the options. This will bring you to the address page. When adding the address in your global address, you need to make sure to select the Singapore if it's a Singapore address. as the country selection here will determine the style of address that you need to fill up. So for example, if I select New Zealand, the fields will change automatically. Or let's say if I select Australia, the type of fields will automatically change here. So you'll need to select it's Singapore, and you can see that the block number has been filled up, street name, and so on. What's smart about your adding the addresses in CAS 360 is that it's powered by Google Address. So it will search based on the address. Let's say I find for example, and automatically it pulls out that block number, the street number, town or city, which is Singapore, and the postal code. You can simply type in the building or the level number. Same goes to over here. You can type in the building number, for example, Tong building, automatically it populates for you. Now, sometimes you don't want to use the Google address. That is also fine. Our addresses details page is flexible enough for you to be able to type in your own address in free text. What it means is that, let's say I am in this page, I want to fill it up in my own, let's say I want Tong building. Instead of selecting from my Google address, I simply go to any space and click on the space, and this will allow me to type in accordingly without searching. And then I'll type in the postal code as well. So this is how we add addresses in CAS 360. So next we're going to learn is, so the next topic we're going to learn in this would be your page 67, officer changes. So one of the very fundamental company changes in your workflow would be officers changes. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to appoint and resign a company office holders. We're also going to learn how to add in the bank account and reprint company changes document to easily prepare documents, again, whenever needed. So again, we're going to use our Google search function to search the company that October. So by clicking the company, this will bring me to the main profile of 18 October company. First, what we'll learn is that we're going to learn how to appoint a new officers in CAS 360. In the Add Officer, you have the ability to add multiple positions from officer, CEO, managing director, secretary, alternate manager, and also your nominee director. So setting up your nominee director can be found under your Add Officers. So let's say I will select David James as my new director. And I click Save. Because the system recognized that you have appointed a new officer, the print toggle will appear, and this will then enable the button or trigger the button Prepare Forms. So click on the Prepare Forms. Again, this will bring you to your document production page. Officer changes. James David has been appointed as the company's director on this date. So I will have all this document packed downloaded for me. Because this is appointment of an officer, that will include your Form 45. What's beautiful about in CAS 360 is that you no longer need to type in the company name or the UEN, as this will automatically fill up for you when you're setting up into the company's profile. All you just need to do is set it up and the respective documents will appear, will pull up for you as well. So you can always preview the documents by clicking on the documents in text in blue. This is your director minutes and resolutions. This is my customized version. So you can see it's been customized a sample. You have also your register of directors. And you can, again, in this tool, in your document production, you have the ability to upload any supporting documents. So if part of your process, you have a onboarding information, or like, let's say your signed document to be a director, for example, you can upload it in that section. So once you have all these documents, you are ready to either send or download documents. So when I click on download all, it will download a PDF format into my computer to save, so I can preview it in PDF format. This is your resolutions, your director's resolutions, your company change summary. This is a very great way for you to be able to track as well, your consent to act, and your register of directors. Now, this document, what happens with this document is not only that you get to download it out from the software, but it also gets saved in what we call the Documents tab. So it gets saved in the company, the 18 October company's Documents tab, which you can see over here. It will show to you that James Davids has been appointed, and it will also show to you in the record over here in your global documents. So I'll explain a little bit more in a later lesson, the difference with the global documents, but essentially it will show to you as well under your global documents. All right. So we'll go back to the 18 October company. So now you have an officer appointed in this section as well. Now in the officers page, you also have the ability to change the status of the officer. So in your page 72 of the manual 4.1.5, we were going to demonstrate how we do a resignation of an officer. So let's say I want to resign Amy as my director. I can simply select non-attendee, or rather removed or resigned. It will automatically change them as non-resignee. You can change the C state as well. And once you select the tick, automatically this document will appear. So by default, your officer's page, the filter will automatically filter by all. So what it means that it will show you not only your existing officers, but also officers that has resigned. So if I were to go to my filter by all and to see all my current officers, it will now show to me 2 directors, David James, Jennifer, and Amy. All right, so this is how we prepare. And again, you have your prepare forms over here, which includes your document pack, director minutes and resolution for resignation of director. So these documents can be customizable, and this topic, customization of documents, will be covered next week in your CAS 360 level 2. So in this topic of document production, you also have the ability to move around the sequence of your documents. So let's say, for example, I want my company change summary to appear at the top of my sequence, let's say over here, so that when I download the document, it will show to me this company change summary first. And you can save this order by simply clicking Save the Order and type in the order filter so that you can use this sequence in the future as well. So this is an example of my defaults. I have a default, so this is the system default. And if I want form 45 to appear first, I will switch the form 45 to appear if I have form 45. You also have the resolutions order. So these are customized filters that I've saved if I want to have a specific order of my documents. So I'm just going to close this one, and we'll prepare this later on, as I want to show to you how we processed also what we call combined minutes and resolutions. So let's say in this process over here, when you prepare the document, sometimes you want to re-prepare or reprint the documents. So for example, I want to reprint the appointment of James David earlier. So I can simply go to the print toggle to reprint those documents. So earlier on, I have resigned Amy as a director and did not print yet. So I just want to switch on the toggle button. And you will see that in the prepare forms, when you click on the button on the left-hand side of your document production, will show to you the summary of the action you are doing currently right now. So at this stage, you are processing a director resignation of Amy and appointment of a new officer, James Davids. Because this is a combined transactions, not only that it will prepare the resignation documents, but it will also prepare the documents for an appointment. So that will include your consent to act as a director. Some practices as well, we want to be able to do a combined minutes and resolution. So this is a good option for you to process a combined minutes and resolution, where we switch on the print toggle buttons for different types of transactions. So you can see that not only that I have done appointment of director, but I've also did a resignation and consolidated this company change in one resolution. So now I'm ready to process this company change by simply clicking download all. And again, this document pack will be saved in my documents tab for this particular company. So this saves a lot of time as well, especially when doing multiple changes for that particular company. So under your Documents tab, you will see that you have done 2 changes, director appointment and director resignation. And to preview that document in the Document tab, we have this option button over here. So you can preview the document that has been processed. So this is how we do a reprinting of documents by switching on the document button and also doing a combined transaction or combined minutes and solutions. The next exercise is on your page 76, 4.2, which is adding a bank account. So in this exercise, we're going to learn how to add a bank account in your relationship screen in CAS 360. So each company will have a tab over here called Relationship that allows you to add in the respective information, not only for bank account, but also things like your auditor, holding company, local agents, public officer, registration, super funds, and so on. So in this exercise, we're going to learn how to do the bank account and how this process will affect and link to your post-incorporation documents as well. Here, I will add and select on bank account, and I will, let's say, I'll select DBS Bank, 18th company, account. So we'll just put it over here. We can also select in the currency. So we'll select this currency and you can type in the number. And if you have any additional information over here, where the contact number and all that stuff, you can add it into here. Something. And click Save. So now that the bank account has been added in, so if you go back to your main page and the company registration for this 18 October, so even if it's registered, we can still have your pre-incorp and post. So we'll click on the post-incorporation button, and you'll now notice that the bank account opening minutes and resolution is now available in your document path. So this is how we add in the bank account. And to trigger the bank account opening minutes and resolutions in your post-incorporation documents. So next we're going to learn will be your members changes. So now we've learned the officers changes. We're going to learn your share transaction or the members changes in your lesson number 5 on the page 79. In this lesson, we'll learn how to allot of shares, transfer shares to different shareholders, and how do you process automated document deadline reminders in your document production, setting up your nominee shareholders and setting up document review, and also registrable controllers registers. Again, we'll use the same company in this exercise. and we'll go to the CAPCO shareholders page. So in the page over here, as we have already set up a subscription first share transactions, on the left-hand side of the screen, it will show to you a graphic presentation of the existing shares. So in the shareholder, you'll be able to select add transactions and select not only allotments, but we also have your shareholder balances, share transfers, change of amount paid, change of beneficiary ownership, and so on. For this exercise, we're going to do a allotment of shares for the new shareholder. So let's say I'm going to select David James, and we'll go through the questionnaires and fields for allotment. So let's assume that there's no organization or trust shared on behalf. So skip that part. Otherwise, if it's beneficiary owner, you can simply switch on the toggle button and select the beneficiary owner. So share cost, you can select based on selected above. So this is tailored specifically for CAS filing process, as the share transaction changes in CAS 360 can now allow you to do the lodgement directly from CAS 360 to ACRA, which I'll show you in a while. So let's say I have ordinary shares. And I'll put 100 shares. You can also type in no consideration. And automatically it will pull out certificate number 2 for the share transaction as it follows sequentially. If, for example, you need to edit the certificate number, let's say I'll put A over here, you can add it as well. This will then display in your share certificate. Once I click save, again, the system will automatically be able to recognize that you're doing a company change. So you will see that the graph on the left-hand side has now been updated, that you have 2 shareholders, the holds 50%, the other one is 50%, total number of shares, total issued share capital, and total paid amount. So in this dashboard, you'll be able to see a column called full paid. It's because I put in the total amount paid for both as well. So before you process the documents over here, for example, if you need to edit this share transaction, you can always go to the option tab. So the trick and tip and trick in CAS 360 is that whenever you need to adjust information, whether it's officers, addresses, always or finding out more what features you can be done for that particular tool, always go to the option tab. So for this case, the option tab for this share transaction allows me to edit or delete. So let's say I click on edit, and if I put on, let's say 50, for example, click save, you will see that the fully paid will be changed to no. So this is how we do allotment shares. So I'll click share prepare forms. You can see. So I have the missing phone number. So what I can do is that if I have validation error, things like that, all I can simply do is I can go to David's contact, and you will see that in David's contact, James David's, there is a button, rather a purple letter I over here. This allows you to preview the contact informations. So this is also a great way for you if you have selected the correct contacts. Sometimes you have multiple contacts that you saved in your global contacts that you might select the incorrect person. So here I can simply go to contact to quickly update that information. So I'll have to add in my communication details. And let's say and I'll type in same phone number if you wish to, and click save. So I have now edited and added in. So if I were to, let's say I refresh this particular page, my share transaction page, it will now show to me that the contact number has been updated. So if I click on prepare forms, the validation error will no longer appear. So I'm now ready to prepare these documents without the errors. So again, you can process the documents and preview them. So an example will be your share certificate. So because it was a second allotment of share for this particular company, so you have certificate number 2. Let's say that I am happy with that transaction. So I'm just going to either download it, or let's say I will save it for this transaction now. So I will not print this document first, as I want to be able to do another combined minutes and resolutions. So the next transaction will jump into the share transfer of shares and automated document deadline notice. So this can be found on your page 86. So the objective of this lesson is to do a share transfer from one shareholder to another. So to do the share transaction or share transfer, again, we're going to have to select add transaction. And this time around, we'll select share transfers. So I'm going to select, let's say, Jennifer as the transfer prompt. And I'm going to select a new person, Roger, for example. Automatically, the share type has been selected as this is the issue shared within the firm. And I'm going to select 550 shares. Automatically, the balance certificate will be generated and the certificate number 3 will be issued to the balance cert. And the 4th certificate number will be then issued to the transferee, which is Roger Long. So depending on your practice, you have an option to select to have a balance cert or none, so that automatically certificate number 3 will be issued or allocated to Roger. So I'm just going to select balance certificate just to show to you how it will be displayed. So if you click saved, So you can see over here that we have now different graphs. We have now 3 shareholders, one of which we have done a share transfer between Jennifer to Roger as well. So because we've done a two types of transaction for shares, one is allotment of new shares to James David and a share transfer between Jennifer to Roger. In your prepare forms button, you will see that we've done 2 transactions for this particular company in real time. So you click on the prepared forms, you will see that this is the transaction that we have done. And all the documents necessary for both transactions will be prepared in your document production page. So that will include your company in your company change summary, not only your allotment journal, but you'll also see the share transfer form. So your application of shares, this is for your first transaction earlier on for James David. And your share transfer form will also be prepared as you did a share transfer from Jennifer to Roger. So CAS 360 is smart enough to recognize that these 2 transaction has happened, and therefore will prepare all the necessary documents for those 2 transactions. And with the share certificate as well, as mentioned earlier, you have your share certificate number 2, which is allocated to James David. And you will see that because I've triggered a keep the setting as issuing the certificate number 3 as balance certificate to Jennifer, who's the transferor. And the new certificate, the certificate number 4 will be issued to the new shareholder, which is Roger Long. So in this process in your document production, there's a lot of interesting, also quite useful tools that you can use as well, which includes your automated document deadline reminders. So in your document, before you set up or download, you will notice that there will be an up arrow next to your download all or send all document. By selecting this up arrow, it allows you not only to download the documents or send the documents to your client, but to also set up a automatic document reminders to your clients. So I'll select this option to download the document. And once I've downloaded the document pack, so these are my documents. You can see that I have combined the solutions for allotment of shares and transfer of shares. I have the company change summary, my share certificate, my register of members, my share and allotment journal, my EGM, applications of shares, and most importantly, your share transfer form. So again, this whole document pack will be saved on the Documents tab of the firm. And when you go back to CAS 360, because you've selected the up arrow to download the document and also set up the document, automated document reminders, this will help me to set up my reminder to the client. So for example, on this day, let's say I set up this day, I can set up the time that I want my client to receive this document. You can also set up a master template. This is, I'll cover this topic next week and select my contacts. So I'm just going to select this particular contact, attach document, and click Save. So that at 4:43, I should be receiving an email. So let's assume I am officer. So I should receive an email. So I'm just going to show you an example. You will see in your client's email, let's assume that I'm the client, you will receive a document deadline reminder with the attached document as well. So this is how we set up a document deadline reminder in your document production. So again, I'm just gonna, so you can always do that whenever you do even if we're printing the documents. In your automated document reminders, you also have the option to send multiple automated reminders. So you can see over here, so I'm just going to close that, for example. So you can see over here that not only is the first reminder, you can add as up to 6 reminders for this particular transaction to your client. So this is how we add a automated document reminders from CAS 360 to your client. If, for example, let's say I want to add another reminder, and then we'll do this reminder again. So this time I'm not going to change the date. So I'm just going to undo that. I'll put it, let's say, at 11 a.m. Second reminder. I can change the timing, for example, at 02. Again, you can select the template. You can as many document deadline reminder template, which I will cover next week on that. And once I save that, because this is the future date, if you go to your messages, under your pending outboxed, because this is a future date, it will show to you what are the upcoming document deadline reminders to be sent and scheduled to be sent to your client. So you can always edit this reminder as well if you need to. So this is how we send a document deadline reminders to your client from CAS 360. So the next exercise that we're going to learn is setting up your nominee shareholders in CAS 360. Setting up the nominee shareholder can be set up under your shareholders tab. Under your shareholders tab, you have an item or button called nominee shareholders. You can simply click and select add nominee shareholders. Let's say I select James David, nominator, appointed, and you can add additional information as well. You can simply save to prepare register of nominee shareholders, and all the information on the register of nominee shareholder will also be prepared. And again, this document will be saved in your Documents tab of that particular firm for the 18th October. To preview the nominee shareholder for that firm, you can simply go back to nominee shareholder again, view the nominee shareholders. This will give you an overview of that particular shareholder. If you need to edit the information, let's say I need to change my shareholder, you can simply click on Edit. And if you need to, again, go back to printing or reprinting the nominee of shareholders, you can simply go back to your nominee shareholder and select Print Nominee Shareholder Documents. So just to take note as well on your page 94 of your manual, so there are prerequisite informations about maintaining a register of nominee shareholder unless exempted. So to find out more details, simply click on to this link if you want to find out whether this company is required to do or maintain a nominee of shareholders. Right. So the next exercise that we're going to learn is your registrable control. So I'm going to combine the registrable controller with your document review as well in this exercise, as I wasn't able to manage the text. Document review process can be found on your page 98, registrable controller. So to set up the registrable controller, again, you will need to go to the shareholders tab of that firm. Also, most important thing as well is that always make sure that if this company is required to maintain a registrable controller register, you'll need to switch on this toggle button as well, so that this will declaration will appear in your annual return filing process. So to set up your registrable controllers, you'll need to select your registrable controller button and add in your registrable controllers. So I'm just going to quickly select respective person. You can also select date of notice sent and date of confirmation received and click Save. So in this process, when you click on Save and Prepare, what you'll notice that the document production will only prepare the registrable controller, register, and confirmation letter. This because that along the process, it doesn't have that nominee, the notices just yet. So how do we prepare the notices for this registrable controller? Now that you've selected and created or added your registrable controller, you can now go to your registrable controller and click Print Registrable Controller Documents. By selecting the Print Registrable Controller, this will then notify you a questionnaire to generate notice to send to Registrable Controller. Simply switch on the toggle button And from here, you can select the type of notice. So for example, notice for controllers. And you could add as many notices as you want. Once you have done that, simply select Prepare Documents. And this would then not only enable you to prepare your registrable controller's register and a confirmation letter, but it will also include your notice for controller notice. So in the document productions, I also wanted to show to you how do we add in the document review. Sometimes before you send out this document to the client, you want this document to be reviewed to your team manager before sending out. We have a tool over here. You can see question called flag documents to be reviewed. By switching on this toggle button, this allows you to add the reviewer or your manager's email address for review. So let's assume I am the reviewer or the team manager, team lead, and I can add to my team lead, please review the information context and correct. For example. All right. So what I can do is once I've enabled the document review, I can simply send all and what will happen is before it gets sent out to the client from CAS 360 to the client, this will be sent to the reviewer for review. So let's assume I am the reviewer, I am the team manager. My staff has just sent a document for me to review. And in my dashboard, you will see that I have a notification over here. So by clicking the Global Documents tab, I will have another tab over here called Document Review to notify me that there is a document that needs to be reviewed. It will also show to me over here with this icon letter N, whether this particular review has a note. So you can see some of the documents doesn't have a note, whereas other document review sent to me have notes. So as a reviewer, as a team lead manager, I can just simply review the documents. And if I want to have an option whether to reject or approve, let's say I'm happy with the documents, approve the documents, what's going to happen is that automatically I'll be able to send this to the client. Otherwise, let's say I review the documents and I rejected, let's say, please update NRIC. For example, I reject the document. So as the preparer or the staff who prepared this document, on my dashboard, I will receive this notification over here to show to me that the documents I have sent to my manager to review has been rejected. So this will show in my Global Documents tab that not only the document is reviewed failed or status has been failed, but also I will have a note from my manager to say, please update the birth details of Jennifer. It will also show to me in the historical trail, which I'll explain a bit later, the status of the document. So this is how we set up a document review within your document production screen in CAS. The next thing on your page 105, we're going to learn how to generate a registrable controller listing report. So CAS 360 has the ability to generate a ACRA version of registrable controller listing report for you to be easily able to upload the list directly to ACRA. So under your reports tab in your navigation page, your navigation toolbar, you have the reports. And under your company report, you will see registrable controller listing report. Here you can generate a report version. Otherwise, you can simply select or switch on the toggle button to generate a ACRA version of your registrable controller listing report. To export out the list, basically you can simply click on export as PDF or Excel. And you'll see over here, it will enable your registrable controller ACRA listing report that you can use to do a bulk upload of your registrable controllers. So this is how we generate a registrable controller listing report from your reports tab in CAS 360. The next chapter will be your company name changes in CAS 360. So that will be on your page 107 of the manual. And here we're going to learn how to change the company name and prepare the necessary documents for the company name change. So again, we're going to learn and go back to the main company selections. And again, you have an option to navigate using your company selection and also by typing in the company that you want to change the company name. So we're going to use the same company, 18 October. And to exercise and change the company name, you can simply go to name registration. Under the add name, select change company name. And here you will have a questionnaire that you'll need to go through if this company name change is compliant. So let's say, for example, for example, and once you have done that, you can simply save and prepare the documents. So depending on the questionnaire that you have answered, this will allow you to prepare the necessary document for the change of company name. This will include your resolutions and your change summary as well. So once I've changed that, it will not automatically change in your system. You can prepare the documents. It will again saved in your global documents tab. So you can see over here, company name change has been done. But when you go back to the name registration, you will see that the effective date is pending transaction. To view what is this note and what the information about, you can simply go with your mouse or your cursor. This company name is pending until approval and received from ACRA. You can also remove the pending status from the option. So you can see that because I haven't selected or changed or removed the pending status, what happens is that if I were to type in, let's say, 18th October, it will still appear as 18th October company. However, if I go to my name registration of this firm and change and removed my pending status, I will need to also apply the effective date of this change. The company name has been updated. And when I go to my company selection, I will no longer see 18 October company, but instead it will be 18 October firm. So this is how we processed a company name change for a particular company. So also take note that there are certain prerequisites that you'll need to make sure of. So to have more information about lodging a company name changed, please refer to the BizFile website. And you need to make sure that the company's name is not prohibited, undesirable, identical to any other registered companies, identical to a name reserved by another company or registered business, or prohibited by the order of Ministry of Finance. All right, so the next chapter will be on your page 112 of your manual, called Global Documents or Documents. In this last chapter, we're going to learn how to process global documents or company documents in CAS 360. So before we finish off for the last chapter, any questions before we move? Right, if there's no questions, I'm gonna jump right into chapter 7, lesson number 7, documents tab. So in this task, we're going to learn how to export documents list, attach external file to the company, change the document status, and view the document history and options. So in your CAS 360, there's different options to view your documents. So in your navigation toolbar, you'll be able to see that under the navigation toolbar, you have the document tabs. This particular documents tab is what we call the global documents that allows you to see not only for a particular firm, but also for all the companies that you have prepared documents for. You'll also be able to filter the documents alert, whether it's a documents lodged, lodgement rejected, annual returns review, documents electronically signed by clients. So if you are using digital signing topic will be covered next week as well. How do we enable this? But in the document alerts filter, you'll also be able to filter based on electronically signed or electronically signed but not lodged. So this is a great way for you to preview the documents, all the documents that you have. And on the other hand, for company global documents, the difference is that company documents is where you can view documents generated only for that specific company that you have selected to work on. So for this case, we're working on 18th of November firm. So it only shows to me all the documents that I've prepared for it. So this is a great way for you to view what are the documents that you have prepared for that specific company. So for example, I have different company changes, like appointment and resignations. And over here, you will also see I have done A share transactions. It's a very good exercise to always click on and select the changes that you have done to preview. It's because this will also show to you which items that you can lodge directly from CAS 360 to ACA. This is an example of it, which over here, you can simply lodge the share transaction directly from CAS 360 to ACRA. So this is one of our seamless filing initiative with ACRA, which allows our software user to lodge company changes from CAS 360 to ACRA. Because the power of software is that you already have the data information. So all this information is already set up in your software in CAS 360. All you need to do is just simply push this information to ACRA's database and update it to their records. Again, it will allow you to select your filing agents. You will get a lodgement rejection for this because this company doesn't exist. So you won't be able to lodge. And anyway, but I'm just going to show to you the process of how it will look like. Automatically, you will get a error. So over here in this section, have the directors obtained the prior approval of the company in general to issue shares? If yes, you can simply switch on. If no, date of the meeting, upload a copy of resolutions as well. Once you have lodged that, you'll see that because unknown error from ACA, this means that because this particular company doesn't exist in ACA's records, you'll get a notification error of dislodgement. So just an example of how you can lodge company informations or company changes like your share transaction from CAS 360 to ACA. So with the next week's CAS 360 level 2, we're going to teach you how to lodge your annual return using the lodgement button as well to submit the annual return informations for your companies. So if you have any new share transactions, Don't be afraid to test it out on your end so that you can practice as well. As shared lodgement is one of the easiest seamless filing that you can do from CAS 360 Accra, so that you no longer have to log into Accra's website and type in the same information to update the share transactions or latest share transfers or allotment for that company. So I'm just going to go back to my global documents. So in the global documents, you have the ability to export the documents list by going to your options to export document list in CVS file or export filtered documents as well. In both global documents and also the company documents, all of which has this column called statuses. This will allow you to see or change the status of the document, whether it has been prepared, signed, processed, and so on. To change the status of the document, for example, for this company name changed, you can simply click on the text in blue and select the status. So you can see the document, let's say document processed, click save, and this will then change the status of the document. Earlier on, we were also able to view the historical trail of the documents. So for example, over here, by clicking on the Options tab and select History, this will allow you to see the historical trail of the document. It will show to you the status, the date, and the timestamp. So you can see the timestamps are different when it comes to the reviews. This is to help you track who did or who processed these documents at which date and which time. There's also a lot of powerful features in your Option tab for each particular file. So as mentioned earlier, every time we prepare a company change, we click on Download All or Send All from our documents production page. Automatically, it will create a file for that particular change. So this is an example where earlier we processed the register book controller. So we have this already the status. And under the option, you have the ability to view the document folder by simply selecting Attachments. Attachment allows you to view the documents that you have prepared. So the ones that you have download all or send all, it will save those documents. So earlier on, we've select download all for this document. You can simply preview them or download. And if you have any supporting documents, so for example, let's say I have received, a document signed by this client, I've received it. I can simply attach it to this document file, the folder, and change my status to, let's say, document received. So again, this will then update your historical document history as well to know that document has been processed or received at this time, at this date. So this is how we change the document history or view the documents. Lastly, this is the very quick tip and trick in your global documents that's not covered in the manual. You can upload document files as well for your company. So for example, 18 October company, I want to create a document file, let's say passport information, scanned copy, for example, and I can change, or let's say document received, and I can touch. Let's assume that I have a scanned copy of the document over here and click saved. So that if I go to 18 October, for example, not only that it saves all the documents I have prepared in CAS 360, but I've also saved or upload documents from external source. So this is like a document I'm simply creating a file for external documents that I want to upload into this profile. You can add in whether it's XBRL documents or your financial statement for this particular company. You can simply create or a file and upload it into your CAS 360. And in the section as well in the global documents, so this is more applicable on global documents than in your company documents, is what we call the advanced filter. This will allow you to customize to filter what are the documents that you want to be able to see. So for example, I want documents views signed by client, and I can simply save the filter or apply the filter, and it will show to me all the documents, the status view signed by client. I can also change, for example, I want to see all my annual return documents for all the clients, and simply apply the filter, and it will show to me the status of all my annual returns. So you can see that I have documents that I need to prepare, for example, that I need to lodge, and then annual returns are rejected or lodged. And with the advanced filter, the beauty about advanced is you can also create statuses. So for or save filters. So for example, I want rejected annual return. So I can save this filter for future use so that I can say rejected lodgement documents, so that it will save under my save filter and apply it for future use. All right. So I can just simply, or for example, I use my only AR and company changes, or let's say I would do ROIs and nominee shareholder. So it will show to me all my registrable controllers and register of nominee shareholders. So this filter, advanced filter, is very powerful for you to search all your document files based on your file names, your statuses, and so on. All right, so This is the end of the CAS 360 Level 1. Any questions so far before we close this session? Please feel free to put in the Q&A box down below so I can go through it before we end the session. All right. If there's no question, thank you so much again, once again. Thank you so much for coming for my training session. Again, I'll just put my email as well in the webinar chat, so you can always reach out to me for questions and clarifications, or if you want me to do a video call or come down to office or to a call to go through some of the process if you're still unclear. Just a very quick reminder as well that this session is recorded, so after the sessions, we'll be sending a recording of this training, so you can always re-watch it again for your own learning discovery of CAS 360. And also, lastly, my email address is in the webinar chat, and also the very useful links that you can save a bookmark in case that you go through some process like your payment, setting up your payments, authentication, and so on as well. All right, thank you so much, everyone, and have a great evening ahead.